Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for GWBC Radio's Open for Business. Now, here's your host.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of GWBC Open for Business, and this is going to be a good one. Today we have with us Angela Bauer with Truly Good Foods. Welcome, Angela.
Welcome, Lee. Thank you for having us.
Well, I'm excited to learn what you got going on. Tell us a little bit about Truly Good Foods. How are you serving folks?
We're a manufacturer and distributor of all kind of snack products. So anything from nuts, dried fruits, snack mixes, sweet and savory, to candies and granola bars, all the energy type bars.
Now, how'd you get into this line of work?
We're a second generation family business, so we're not only woman-owned, but we're a family business. So I guess I've worked other places, but I guess I kind of inherited this job as well.
So now, what was it like being part of a family-owned business? That they have some unique challenges.
Yeah, so we're about 44 years old. So my parents started it when I was in high school. I'm the youngest of 4 children, and now it's just my sister and I. The others have all passed away, but that's always challenging because all your dynamics of your family, of course, come into the business, and it evolves as you go. But yet you're always your particular spot in the family, right? I was always the youngest, so I think I still get that treatment here. But anyway, but it's good. It's like everything in life. There's the good and the bad with it, and you just got to see it and accept it and move on and work with it.
Now, what did your parents see about this industry that attracted them to it?
My father back in the 50s ended up just kind of coincidentally being in the nut business, like the peanut nut business. He thought it was going to be nuts, like nuts and bolts kind of business when he went in to apply. So it's really serendipitous. And anyway, just so he ended up in that career. And then with the 70s, there was a merger and a buyout. So he found himself needing to find a job and just worked in the industry, and to the point he worked with some folks and kind of reinvented himself and built the business up to be a little bit more than just peanuts, and caught on to the food trends. That's it. That's how we're here. So
now, how did it expand beyond nuts into other kind of snacking food groups?
Well, so we started in the late 70s, and so the trend, obviously, a lot of things trend in California come this way, and when he was out, he started to see people doing the different trail mixes, and he thought, he looked at it and thought, how could he do it better? What else could he do? And that's really how it brought about. In the 70s was bulk foods and co-ops and health, and that's really how he ended up trying to build more snack mixes along to offer with nuts and dry fruits and just anything else that people would want to eat that are shelf-stable kind of snack products.
So then you pay attention to kind of the trends in the snacking and food industry in order to kind of create and evolve your products that you have into that kind of trend?
Yeah, of course, you always got to pay attention to trends, and it's super, food and snacks in particular seem to be more and more trendy than they ever have been. And sometimes it's almost overwhelming. You just catch up to a trend and something else is gone, or sometimes the trend is super trendy in a lot of the publications and the word out there, but when it comes to eating, people say one thing and they do another. But yeah, we have to keep an eye on it all the time to know what to do and what not to do.
And then what about the sourcing of the food products? Is that a challenge?
It can be. I mean, right now, obviously with the pandemic, a lot of folks are having the supply chain issues, so that's certainly there. Other than that, a lot of the products we buy are from the U.S. I mean, peanuts, pecans, walnuts, pistachios, almonds. But some products you're only going to get overseas. Cashews, Brazil nuts. I mean, they just don't. Macadamia nuts. They don't grow in the U.S. So they've always been an imported item, and now it's a little more challenging. But I love it when people say, I want to source locally. So can I get some local cashews? I'm like, well, no, unless you go live in Africa or Brazil or somewhere. So, anyway.
I guess the average person isn't aware, I guess, of the supply chain and where things are from. As long as it shows up on their shelf, they're kind of happy. They don't understand how complex that is to make something appear on the shelf.
Yeah, that's probably true. Most people don't know a lot about it, as anybody would. I don't know a lot about other areas, but I expect it to be what I want it to be. So yeah, it's interesting. It's a lot more complicated than we always think everything is, right?
So now, what's the most rewarding part of the job for you?
Oh, because the business is kind of like, I have 3 children, but the business is sort of like my 4th child. I mean, I love my family first and foremost, but right after that is the business. So, it's really important to us because it's obviously it's not only work and a source of income for me, but it's all the employees we have and the customers. We take a lot of pride in it. And, quite frankly, I mean, a lot of people are exiting the food business and the snack business, and they can sell out and we could certainly do that, but we choose to stay because I think, there's a little bit of love and pride of customers and our employees that keep us, my sister and my husband and I here. Sometimes we wonder, like, why are we still doing this? But that's the reason why.
Now, is your customer kind of the end user consumer, or is your customer kind of the store or the health food boutique, or it could be an airline or kind of a commercial entity?
Well, it's kind of both. I mean, obviously, as a consumer, if you don't like what I make, then I'm dead in the water, right? But where we do sell directly, of course, is through the food service and retail channels. So yeah, we're selling more like the colleges and the hospitals, the cafeterias. We're selling the business and industry cafes. We're selling, we do sell some into the airlines. We sell, like, maybe you're going into the lounge to get a snack. I mean, all these things in COVID world, you're like, I'd have to try to remember what that was like. But that's where we're selling. And so we're kind of like, we're probably a product that you've eaten and seen, but you probably wouldn't know that it's us because we're not really up there in the public. A lot of times it's put in another container and served to you at a restaurant, for example, or a hotel.
Now, when you're coming up with kind of products, you're kind of productizing some of your nuts and snacks and fruits, and then you're creating kind of new products around them using the same materials, right? Isn't that a big part of the innovation and the creative elements of your job?
Yes, it's really kind of simple. I mean, we're not really inventing if we do a new product or invent something, it's really not all that complicated. Just another flavor on a nut or taking a different combination and making up some new, interesting mix is what we do. So, like, for example, we just did a key lime crunch. So we took a little key lime polar bit and we worked like a crunchy cereal around that and some other items and some yogurt covered items and just made that up. So that's perhaps what it is, or it's maybe getting another flavor or another kind of candy coating on the cashew or pistachio or a ale nut, a peanut that's turned around and used in our happy hour mix, which is like a sweet and sour hot bar mix, or that kind of thing. It's not really a bar mix, but you think about that, it's more of a savory mix. So that's the innovation. And then how do I put it? Do I put it in a grab-use cup that can go in your golf cart, or in your book bag, or do I put it in a snack bag that you can grab in a 1 ounce and then eat it, when you're hungry later in the day. So that's the small innovations that we do.
Now, when you're coming up with those innovations, is that something that kind of the retailer is saying, hey, it would be great if we had this in like 100-calorie snack packs? Can you take this thing and put it in a 100-calorie snack pack? Or is it that collaborative? Or are you kind of dictating to them, hey, have you thought of this? Or, hey, Nashville hot chicken is popular now. Why don't we do kind of a hot version of that mix that's popular?
It's a little of both. I mean, we like to work with our customers. Sometimes our customers just look to us to say, like, can you do it? And then other times they'll say, this is kind of some constraints, so we'll try to work around that. So we have had the portion control and whether it's 1 ounce or 100 calories, and then, oh, by the way, can you make it healthy and can you do this? And usually we'd say we like that if a customer will say, look, here's the 2 or 3 most important things I want. And then what can you give me? Because sometimes if they try to figure it all out and then come say, hey, can you quote me this or can you make this? We're like, well, we can, but you know what? If you would just let me have a few parameters, we could probably do a better job at giving you 2 or 3 alternatives and maybe like one of those better, or maybe lead to either a third option. So, but otherwise, like that key lime one, we knew key lime was a hot flavor. We sell a lot into the Florida market, but it's really a strong flavor even nationwide. And so we had a vendor that had a key lime piece, and we said, hey, let's do something with this because we know we've talked to customers enough to know there's a demand. So, we always are trying to listen to what customers want and keep it in mind and see if we can turn it into something that is commerciable, if that's a word.
Now, is it frustrating for you when there's like so much information about nutrition and health that kind of is contradictory? Like on one hand, people are like nuts are healthy, and then other hand, then they say they're fattening. It becomes one of these things where, like this is a natural, healthy vegan product. There's a lot of pros to it, and then there's a lot of misinformation about some of the health around nuts.
You hit the nail on the head. I'm smiling if you can tell by my voice, but because, I love it when a customer says, I want something healthy. I'm like, my next question is, what do you define as healthy? Because like you said, there's vegan and there's vegetarian and there's low fat and there's no added sugar and there's low added sugar, less sugar, and then there's no artificial colors and no artificial ingredients. But how do you define artificial ingredients and GMO and on and on and on? And you've got to really narrow it down right away. For people. And I've been in the business so long that I've seen the trends come and go that you got to be careful. It sort of can make you a little cynical even as a consumer or as an eater, right? But, back in the 90s when fat was bad, remember all the fat-free stuff?
Right.
And nuts were the bad fat. We joke nuts was the 4-letter word for fat, for bad fat. And then, stick around for a few years. And then now everybody's in love with us because of the health halo and it's a good fat. And I've always kind of joked that pork used to be the other white meat. If you've been around for a while, you remember how they would advertise pork. And I said, really nuts are the other non-nut meat. They're also a high protein. So, it's kind of funny. It's the same product, but it's a different world that's evolved around that product. And it's kind of challenging and can be frustrating to see. But that's just how it is. So it's really like that in the world of nutrition. And I suspect it's like that in other areas of the world. But, it's always moving.
Yeah, I think that there's so much misinformation around health, weight loss, even like veganism and vegetarianism. Just because something's vegan doesn't mean it's healthy. I mean, sugar and salt are vegan. That you don't want to load up with only eating that. That's not going to be good. So there's a lot of confusion, I think, when the lay person doesn't really understand the nuance of it.
Yeah, it can get kind of discouraging to some degree. If you do try to eat healthy, if you, I don't know, maybe that's just my personality, but sometimes I'll be like, okay, I'm eating healthy and I'm doing whatever. And then someone's like, oh, well, then that's not really healthy. And then you're like, okay, well, I better do that. And then at some point you just say, I give up. Give me the box and I'll eat the box because I don't know if anything that goes in any package is healthy anymore based on outside standards. You feel like you sort of figure it out and here comes another new study. So, I like I think there's a Greek philosopher that attributes it, but everything in moderation. And sometimes we try in a polite way to caution people who come to us and say, we want a healthy snack. We'll say some people try to dictate health to who they're buying for. And, you can have healthy, but you also have to make sure people are going to eat it. And I think people have gotten a better understanding with that. We've had some people really want healthy and then they start out and we kind of try to warn them and then they find out, oh, wait a minute. And so, now I hear people come back and, well, we like healthy, but it's can't be at the sacrifice of taste, And we said, you're right, because if you make it healthy but it tastes bad, then they're just going to throw it in the trash, and then it's really a waste of everything. So.
Now, what was kind of the impetus of you getting involved with the GWBC? What kind of compelled you to get involved with that organization and get certified? Right.
I think it was in the early 2000s. We had a customer say, are you a woman in business? And I go, well, I guess let me think about that. Yes, I guess we are, because my mother and my sister are majority owners if you add us up together. So I said, I guess we really are. And they're like, well, would you mind getting certified? And I said, no, we'll pretty much try to do anything a customer asks us to do if it's not illegal, immoral, or unethical. So I went through the process, and that was quite challenging because we started in the 70s. So getting all our records were, typewritten manuscripts and just scanning everything in and sending it over. And so we really were certified because a customer brought it to our attention, asked us, said it was important to them, and it wasn't even something I knew about. And here we are later, 20 so years later, and GWBC has been great, and WBENC, it's been fun to see how they've evolved, and they've really helped us. And it's, I really applaud them in their certification process, because I know I've had some people go, gosh, that's a lot of work, and she'd ask you a lot of really kind of personal type questions. And I said, yeah, but that's to their credibility, because I want to be certified, and I want somebody that's going to certify that. It's not going to just check a box if I give them a check. And they really do a good job at making sure that you are, certified women-owned, and that you are actually, women-owned and operated. It's not just in name only. And I like something that has integrity to it, like that.
Now, have you benefited from maybe some of the collaboration with other certified women-owned businesses, or some of the connections that maybe they matchmake you with maybe some enterprise level opportunities?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of examples of that. So I don't know that I want to try to call out just one, but a couple of things. One is, I think it is sort of like a small family. I mean, I feel like most people are very open and friendly to, if you call each other to ask for some advice or help, or sometimes we all come together to try to share experiences and learn, which is super helpful, because I'm in a family business. So where else am I going to get some other outside experience, right? I need another outside world to learn from. And then definitely with the shows and matchmaking and stuff, it's nice that, being women-owned, you're not going to, it's not a, pass-go card and the game of Monopoly, right? But it's a more friendly way to do networking and business, and prove what you already have and get you another ally inside our organization to see if it's a fit, and if it's a fit, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we're all here to do our job and sell a product or a service or what have you. And WBENC does a great job at getting you teed up for that.
Well, congratulations on all the success. Is there anything we could be doing for you? What do you need more of right now in your business?
I need everybody to eat more nuts, especially my nuts. I mean, the pandemic's been really hard on us, because we're more in the food service world than the retail grocery world. So we're just trying to survive that. So I don't know that you would necessarily know or see our products, but certainly, if you do and you support us or support people who maybe can help us, we go, our corporate name is Tropical Nut and Fruit, but we try to go in a nationwide presence as Truly Good Foods. That's our brand, and our little tagline is, who could say no to Truly Good? Because we don't represent one type of snack. We're not just healthy, or not just, junky, bad for you, or whatever, but we're a little bit of everything. And hopefully, if you think of our snack foods, you can order even on our own. We've got a consumer website. You can order direct on Walmart.com and Amazon.com and things like that too, that consumers can reach us. So we just appreciate any support. And thank you for having me today. I really appreciate it.
And then that website one more time, if somebody wants to learn more.
The best would be our www.trulygoodfoods. It's all one word with the S.com. The consumer website directly, you can get there via the commercial one but the consumer one is www.yorksnuthouse, because that was my parents' name, York, Y-O-R-K, yorksnuthouse.com.
Well, Angela, thank you again for sharing your story. You're doing important work, and we appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, Lee. Eat your nuts.
All right. This is Lee Cantor. We'll see you all next time on GWBC Open for Business.